Hello everyone, it's Tilly from Tilly Journals. Welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. This week I'm planning for the week of the 24th of March, which was the week of Mother's Day in the UK, using A Mother's Love from Lynner Designs. I did get this as a printable kit, so I did print and cut it myself. It was, my first Mother's Day because I was pregnant at this point. I turned 39 weeks pregnant on the Saturday of this week. I do have several day extenders on this. I have one in the sidebar to include a nice full box, and then I have one on both Thursday and Sunday. Sunday is a double extender sort of thing with 2 extra boxes, and Thursday was just an extra 1 box. But there were plenty of full boxes in this kit, so I could use full boxes in all of those, which was nice. Anything else? I don't think so. The foil bundle is from Plannerface. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use Tilly to save 10%. I believe Lynner is on maternity leave. Lynner Designs is on maternity leave at the moment, but you can still get printable kits, but not physical ones. And then the foil I used with this was the underlays I used with this were clouds from my shop in hot pink. I just thought that was a nice bringing of the pink. I thought it went really well with the kit and looked really cute. I think that is everything for the base of the spread. In the sidebar, my highlight of the week was going to Mr. Chu's, which is a Chinese wet restaurant, with my neighbours. So that's what the King's Crew or King's means. That is the name of our street. So yeah. Then I finished 2 books this week, one physical and one audiobook. And I just marked in that I was feeling pretty exhausted by DIY, but who is surprised, because I was 38/39 weeks pregnant and doing a lot of DIY. I finished the nursery off this week and also did some lights and stuff in our hallway. So lots of DIY going on. Cool. So into the day by day. So Monday I started off the day by doing some painting before I went to have my hair re-balayaged. I have it done about every 6 months, so it was time for my next one. So yeah, I had my hair balayaged, and a different person. So the first time I had it done, it was my usual hairdresser, but then she went on mat leave, so the second time I had it done, it was by somebody else at the same they're all at the same hairdressers, but it was by somebody else, and I was not very happy with it. And then this time a third person did it, and my mum really rates. My mum gets her hair cut there too. She really rates her, and I was so happy with the balayage after being quite unhappy with it last time. So yeah, I was really happy with it, so I just marked that in. Then I did lots more painting. Rebecca, my careco, came around and I had an appointment with her. Then in the evening we had Rangers, and we were doing Duke of Edinburgh stuff. And after that I did some colostrum harvesting. This is like early breast milk, really great to have a supply of it. But yeah, so I was harvesting colostrum. I've just realised I've just started on my week without talking about the books I finished this week. I quickly mentioned the books I finished and didn't, actually talk about them. So let's go back a little step and talk about the books I finished this week, because clearly I just felt like skipping that. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so the books I finished this week is Good Mums Have Scary Thoughts, which is a it's a book for oh my god, why are words failing me? It's basically it's got a comic on one side of something that mums might feel, and on the other side has a bit more of a description about it, and normalising those thoughts, and also talking about how you might challenge those thoughts. And it's a nice light-hearted look at some negative thoughts that mums might have, both initially, immediately after birth, and further into their child's life. There's some really great practical advice and activities through it as well, and it is designed to stop you feeling alone, and it really does do that. I think if you're expecting or have just had a baby, it's a really good idea to read these, because the scary thoughts that you have or might have just seem so much less scary and so much less overwhelming. And this is something that I have actually I haven't actually, but I intend to reference back to when I do have those negative thoughts. But it really, like, early in baby's life, when I did have those scary thoughts and stuff, I haven't had any for a little while, which is nice. It did, like, I remembered back to this book and I was like, I'm glad I've read that, and I'm glad I've read about those thoughts. So yeah, I gave it 5 stars. Really would recommend if you're somebody, particularly somebody who struggles with their mental health and you're having a baby, but also if you are not somebody who struggles with their mental health and just had a baby or have a child, full stop. I think it's really worth giving that a read. And then the other book was a fiction book, and this was an audiobook, and I listened to the reappearance of Rachel Price, which is by Holly Jackson, who you may have heard from of her other series, which is, oh my gosh, why can I not remember, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is her series that you probably have heard of. This is one of her other books that has come out since that. So this is about Belle, whose mum disappeared when she was only 2 years old. Her mum was Rachel Price. The disappearance of Rachel Price has always been a shadow over her life. When her dad agrees to do a documentary about it, the whole thing is sent into a spiral after Rachel reappears. Sorry, it's called The Reappearance of Rachel Price. The whole thing's sent into spiral after Rachel reappears 16 years after her initial disappearance. Belle doesn't know who to trust, knows Rachel's lying, and knows she must find the truth. I thought this was a really excellent read. I gave it 4.5 stars. There are a lot of twists and turns, and I love the idea of a young adult investigating her mum's disappearance. Belle is over 18 during the book, I believe. It's fascinating watching who Belle trusts and leans on throughout. Some of the twists were predictable, but others shocked me hard, and to be honest, I love that in a mystery. I love the bits that I can work out and other bits that keep me guessing. Jackson knows how to keep the reader hooked, and her writing is so compelling. It makes you just want to keep reading the whole time. I love how headstrong her female main characters are, even if that can be infuriating at times. There's a lot of trauma in this, and the trauma characters go through can be a lot. If that you're somebody that gets triggered, it's worth reading the trigger warnings, I think, although it will spoil some bits of the book. It's worth doing if that is like something that you struggle with. I'm not particularly somebody who gets triggered in books, even when triggering things that have happened to me that like trigger me in other circumstances happen. But yeah, no, if you are somebody who gets triggered in books, I would really recommend having a read of the trigger warnings. And yeah, as I said earlier, the other thing I marked in my sidebar was that I was feeling just exhausted by DIY this week. There was a lot of it, and yeah, it was a lot. Again, I apologise for the yawning. I'm probably saying this absolutely every video, but I am knackered because I have a 60-week-old baby at home, and sleep is not something that I get a lot of, and these voiceovers are recorded in her nap times, so yeah, there's that. She's currently sleeping on my husband's chest whilst I record this voiceover, though I think she's probably going to wake up soon, so yeah. Anyway, that is kind of it for the base and stuff like that. I have already talked about Monday and how I'm happy with my haircut and stuff, so I will get into the rest of the week. I have quite a lot of time, like I've got a full 9 minutes to chat to you about this week, so we'll see how it goes, because I don't know that it will take that long, but we'll see. So on to the Tuesday, I did some more preparation in the nursery, getting that ready. We had the carpet fitted, I believe, on the Thursday of this week. Was it the Thursday of this week? Yeah, it was. We had the carpet fitted on the Thursday of this week. So we were just trying to make sure everything was ready for that. So yeah, did some nursery prep. I was feeling in my feels and just a bit sad. And then I had a big cry, and that helped. I don't know why I was feeling so sad this day. I just think I was probably exhausted and everything was getting a bit much, but yeah, and feeling worried about baby and stuff, because we knew that baby had dropped down the centiles and there was a chance that they would want to induce me later in the week, and that was a bit scary, and so yeah, I was just dealing with it a lot at this point. So yeah, I then had a nap and felt a little bit better, and then my mum came round and we put up the rainbow shelves in my daughter's nursery. She has a rainbow themed nursery, and we have 7 shelves in each rainbow colour. I'm obsessed with our nursery. I think it's really, really cool. I love it. So yeah, we put up the rainbow shelves, and then we had guides, and to finish off, and at guides, I don't really remember what we did at guides. I've not marked it in, but apparently, yeah, we had guides. And then me and my husband were chatting about induction of labour and whether we would agree to it or not, and like under what circumstances we'd agree to have an induction after the scan on Thursday. Then on to Wednesday, my mum was here helping again, and we did a lot of baby prep, various bits and pieces, just getting the house and us ready for their arrival in case they had to come later in the week. Was doing some laundry again just to try and make sure everything was as ready as it could be for our baby's arrival. She was born the week after this, like a week on the Sunday is when she was born. But yeah, she was very nearly due, and we thought there was a good chance that, well, we knew there was a chance I was going to be induced on the Thursday or Friday. So yeah, then I've just marked in that my mum was helping out. We did go to our final midwife appointment, and packed our hospital bag, ready both for me and for baby, and I was just feeling more ready and a lot better about the fact I might have been having a baby later in the week. Sorry, I am yawning away. So I did just feel better about everything. I think part of my crying session the day before was just complete overwhelm at how much there still was to do. In the evening, I did go to pregnancy yoga, and that was the last pregnancy yoga I went. Oh no, I went to one the following week as well. Never mind. Went to pregnancy yoga, and then after pregnancy yoga, I was having lots and lots of Braxton Hicks. This was like starting to ramp up, and we were pretty sure baby was going to come near their due date. We didn't know whether they were a boy or girl at this point. We didn't find out till they were born. But yeah, I was having absolutely tons of Braxton Hicks. On to Thursday, we did start off the day with our growth scan, and then there was a big gap between our growth scan and our review. So we were looking at baby names quite a lot, and we had a baby girl name, and that is what we have used, but we didn't at this point have a baby boy name. So we were looking at baby boy names, and we never agreed on one fully, which was good job that baby was a girl, because we had her name picked up. So yeah, then we had the consult and appointment. Basically everything was okay, and they would still recommend inducing at 41 weeks, but they were happy not to book that in or anything, and they didn't need to bring her early because her growth had picked up a little bit and it was back to what is classed as normal, basically, and she was a very normal weight, so that is all good. So yeah, I've just marked in that all was well. We then went to various shops. We went to Dunelm to pick up some last minute things for baby and baby's room, and we went to McDonald's because we love our Macca's at lunch. We moved lots of furniture and stuff into the nursery and put things where they belonged, and then I had an appointment with Kirsten, who is part of the perinatal team. She's a support worker, and she helps with preparations in the nursery. We were going to build the cot, but then we discovered we were missing some stuff, and it was just, yeah, we just worked on the nursery. Then afterwards, me and my husband had some nice cuddles. We did some colostrum harvesting, and I finished the day by doing some colouring. I think I did a sheet from Roma Maid's colouring book, which I love her colouring book so much. Unfortunately, I've not actually had a chance to colour any other pages since then, but yeah, I did colour one that day. On to the Friday. Started off the day by building the cot and the next to me. So next to me is what she is sleeping in our bedroom, though actually she's sleeping in the Moses basket in the next to me at the moment because she's only Diddy and she just prefers the Moses basket, so that's what we are doing. To fit the next to me in our bedroom, we had to turn around where our bed was, so we rearranged our bedroom. This was actually me, my mum and my dad were doing this. My husband was at work, and then I hung the blinds in our hallway and in the bathroom, and it was an absolute ball ache. Two of the blinds were really difficult to do. One of them we had to drill through tire, and the other we had there was a lintel, so we were drilling through metal, and my husband's metal drills were like things to drill through metal were useless, so it was an absolute ball ache to do, and it was drilling above my head, and it was just so hard. Anyway, so after that I needed a bit of a rest before we had a meal out with our neighbours. They had their 12-week scan this week. They are pregnant again, and it's lovely. Oh, was this a 20-week scan? They had a scan this week. I actually think it was neither. I think it was a 16-week scan, off the top of my head. Anyway, they'd had a scan this week and everything was looking good, and they were feeling relieved because they've had a bit of a journey getting into this pregnancy. They are due in September, so it was a celebrating meal for that, and yeah, so we ate out. And I just marked in that it was really lovely and it was a good day. On to the Saturday. Started the day by doing some laundry, put up the mirrors in both the craft room and the nursery. They are just inside the wardrobe mirrors. Then we were trying to add a hall light to the top of our stairs because it's quite dark on the stairs and I didn't want to risk falling with baby ever, so we added in a hall light. I then went for a nap and then installed the lights downstairs because we were changing all of the hallway lights. Cooked dinner with my husband and then was just marking that I was in my feels and tired and stuff. Yeah, and then on to Sunday. Sunday was Mother's Day in the UK. As I say, it was kind of my first Mother's Day. I was pregnant, I didn't have a baby, so it depends. I like both this Mother's Day and next Mother's Day are my first Mother's Day, you know. Then just marked that we had a bit of a lie-in and did some odd jobs. I then stickered up my journal ready for writing in. Was working on laundry. I think we were folding it this day, but I'm not 100% sure. Had some time in my planners. I can't remember whether I was filming a plan with me or not, but I had some time in my planners. Did some of the hypnobirthing course that I was working on. Refilled our medications, which we do every 2 weeks because we have like a 2-week medication holder. Did some goal setting for April because obviously it was the penultimate day of March on this day, so did that. Then I found out my parents had an argument. We were meant to be going out for Mother's Day with my mum, dad and brother, but unfortunately my mum and dad had an argument and we had to cancel the meal. I talked to my mum and got her to come round to our house and sort of helped out, and then because she had wandered off, like she'd gone off for a bit, but I got her to come round to our house to chat to us, and then my dad came round to our house as well, and I did some mediating of that argument, which was not the most fun thing in the world, but is what it is. Yeah, it was all fine, and got all sorted, but yeah, it was not the nicest day ever, and not really what you need at 39 weeks pregnant, but it is what it is. Sometimes people have arguments, and sometimes they just need a little bit of support in communicating it better to, you know, sort things out, because not everybody can communicate very well when they're having an argument. But anyway, let's not go into that. That is it for this video and this spread. If you've got to this point in the video, leave a little flower to match the foil bundle in the comments down below. I'm just showing you those day extenders. I really love the toolbox in the sidebar there. I think it's super cute. Here are all of my leftovers. There is plenty leftovers. Lynner design kits are nice and bulky. My only problem with them is that the little things, there's 2 different sizes, and I wish there were more of the slightly bigger little things. But anyway, that is it for this video. Comment, like down below, all that kind of jazz. I hope you enjoyed it. I always love colour block spreads, and this one is no different. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. One last foil review for you there. Thanks for watching. Bye!